Talk about the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Anyone ever hear of them? All right, a few of you. Okay, good. They're a big national organization. I want to first of all thank them for letting us talk about them. My colleague there, I'm going to give you his information, Todd Whitley, has been fabulous to work with, and he can answer a lot more direct questions about what is behind their work, but I will do my best to represent. I want to quickly tell you a little bit about what they do online, and then share with you a social media campaign or experiment that we did with them about a year ago. So what is their guiding principles when it comes to how they think about using social media or technology? I wanted to share this. This is based on a conversation I've had and in working with Todd. You know, the first thing is really thinking about social media and technology as it relates to not only your overall communication strategy, but even beyond that, to your overall mission and what you're doing. A lot of times it's very, you know, we want to jump in and start thinking about what we should be doing on Twitter or Foursquare. But it's really important to think about how this actually connects to our mission and the people we're trying to engage with. Crawl before you walk, walk before you run, right? You know, the whole idea of not jumping into the big splash that Daniel was just talking about, but slowly building up to it. Really listening, and again, we always hear that in any social media conversation, listening first and responding to what you're hearing. And it's not just about now in the shift in communications that Lisa spoke about. Not only is it, you know, now we have an opportunity to hear from our community, but with all these tools, our community has a chance to talk to each other. And that's very new for a lot of organizations to actually be able to see what that's like and to be part of that conversation. You know, not really trying to change the community's behaviors. We want the community to do what we want them to do, right? We want our users to do X, Y, and Z. Actually, what they want to do is going to be more important, and it's going to actually trigger what's actually going to happen. So it's important to acknowledge that they're going to do their own thing, and might as well try and find out what it is and connect to it. Super users. All of us have our fans who, you know, will do anything we ask them to do, and we'll be the first ones Facebooking, tweeting, texting, etc. Those are the people to start with as your internal focus group and find out what they want to do. As Daniel and others have said, it's so important to be really who you are and to be genuine. And that really needs to come out in how you're communicating. And again, be willing to experiment and fail. This is the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society website. I want to mention that they recently went through a rebranding process. Sadly not with Big Dog, but that's okay. And so the campaign I'm going to show you in a minute is actually pre-new brand, so you'll see a little bit shift. But I just want to point out that on their website they make it easy to find where they are in social media. They have this little box at the bottom of the screen. They also have created, when you click on that box, a list of all their places in social media as well as badges that you can put on your site. So they're saying, hey, if you are someone who's savvy and you want to find us on Facebook or tweet with us, here's how to do that, here's where we are. And that's very important. If you're going to establish yourself, make sure people can actually find you there. They also have sharing available. So many of you perhaps know the free tools, share this and add this. This makes it easy for your community if they do want to post a link on Facebook, tweet it, share it, to have it available. So again, I think when we talk about websites, and websites are moving to being more dynamic and user-generated, at the minimum, if you're on social media, make sure people can find you there. All right, so I want to talk to you a little bit about a campaign that we did with them. This is a campaign we started working on, let's say, November, December, well, maybe November 2009, to launch around Valentine's Day in 2010, so a little over a year ago. In the middle of working on this campaign about a year ago, something called Haiti happened. You may remember that. That was, I think, happened around January 12th. When that happened, we actually almost sidetracked this whole campaign. We were really worried about trying to launch with something that might seem insensitive. So what we did was we actually pushed the launch date back to give it a little more room, which meant we had a lot less time to promote something for Valentine's Day. And I think, you know, that impacted the results. I think we still saw some interesting responses, but I want to mention that. So the goals of our campaign were to make sure people knew more about blood cancer. That's what the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is about, but also to make sure they knew about the organization. To try and see if we could raise money. As many of you know, social media has been great for awareness raising, for community building, so on raising money, but it's getting there. So we thought we'd see. We wanted to obviously build relationships with the community and actually help them reach new members of their community. So reach particularly younger men. One of their programs is called Team in Training. It's a marathon and endurance sports training program. really popular among women, and particularly women who are a little bit older. So how can they use social media to maybe reach that younger demographic, but still engage the people who work with them? And also, try and be a little bit more playful than their usual tone, and really be a little bit more community-oriented. Most of their communications as an organization are about individuals who are looking to get help, get treatment, get support. So how can we use community engagement through social media? So we created the Totally Baldacious campaign, shave one for the team. At this campaign, again, is the idea of being playful and more fun. The idea was to create a campaign where people could either shave their hair or color their hair to raise money and awareness for other people who are surviving and living with cancer. That's an activity that people are already doing, but we wanted to see how we could take that activity that people were doing offline and make it easy and promote it online. So again, the offline actually led the online. So we created the campaign idea, the logo, the tagline, etc., and we locked it up to their existing brand, which again was pre-rebrand. So we developed key messages. What were the big ideas across all the content that we wanted to communicate? What's this campaign about? Why should you do it? And what is it going to do? So the organization launched it by sending out an email talking about how Valentine's Day was coming and that these are all the things you can do. You can take part on a website and create a page where you can ask people to sponsor you. You can go virtually bald, which I'll show you in a minute. That was really fun. And you can ask your friends to support you, right? So we built a mini site where people could actually sign up and say, I'm going baldacious, please sponsor me. We had a celebrity spokesperson, Evan Handler, who you may know from Sex and the City, and Californication, who's actually a leukemia survivor. And we also had a patient hero who was involved. And so on the website, it was a very simple website. It went back to their main site, but it was a campaign site that just made it easy for people to find you and take action. So we created this baldacious widget. And in this widget, you could basically take a picture on your webcam or upload a picture and see what you look like bald. And then send that to your friends. Not everyone's going to have the chutzpah to shave their hair off, so we wanted to at least give another way for people to get involved. This is what I look like bald, not so cute. Thankfully, I still have my hair and I'll hold on to it as long as I can. So once you went virtually baldacious, you could send an e-card to your friends, show them what you look like, ask them to participate, and also, make it easy to tweet, Facebook, etc. about it. We even had MySpace in it, crazy. We put that application also on Facebook. And we asked people, because we knew some people were just going to be on Facebook, and not only where we wanted them to be. That's another part of knowing where your community is. You may want them to come to your website and microsite. They might not always. It's going to be on their terms, and sometimes their terms are where they are, and that might be on Facebook or somewhere else or on another website, right? So we made sure it was on Facebook, and when people did that, we asked them to also make that their profile photo, which was a great way of making sure people knew about it and generating comments and attention. Also, a little bit of Twitter love across the way. I will say that Twitter was not the most successful vehicle for them. Facebook was. On their Facebook page, at the peak of the campaign, and within a period of about 3 or 4 weeks, we had 14,000 people as fans back in the day. I guess likers now, in the evolution of Facebook terminology. And you can't really see it, but I actually colored my hair. I didn't, again, have the chutzpah to shave it, but I colored, and I wanted to participate, and I raised a few $100s by doing that. And we posted a picture as I was doing it, and lots of comments came. So the community was really engaged. They weren't just liking the page and leaving. They were supporting each other and sharing a lot of very personal stories. One of the most interesting things that happened was the CEO decided to participate. And he's this gentleman who tends to be a little bit more corporate looking. And when he went baldacious, he actually shared a story. He made a video about how his wife actually was a breast cancer survivor, and shared a lot more of himself. So he set a not only did he set a personal fundraising goal to raise $50,000 and get sponsors, but he also shared a lot about why he was participating in this. And I would say that it was actually one of the most unexpected successes of this campaign. When it was posted on Facebook, over 100 people commented and liked that he did that and shared a lot of stories about how they saw that he was getting real. There were also people who were commenting about his salary, as often happens with executive directors, but the community responded and said, but he's running in a really incredible organization and this is what he's doing. So of course, there was some really interesting banter that came through that. The blog, the Leukemia Lymphoma Society has a blog at LLS Community, and that's where they were interviewing people throughout the campaign. Again, content is so central to the success of this. And then here was the interview with Amy, who was the hero in this, and they used that story and promoted it across their platforms. They also had people who actually videotaped when they went baldacious, so that was good use of YouTube. And we got some coverage. The coverage was primarily in sort of the local nonprofit press. But they found that it was actually pretty mediagenic. I used to work at PR firms, so that was a wonky word we used. I tend to still use it. You know, hearing the CEO, seeing the CEO actually take part in the campaign the organization was doing generated a lot of interest. This is I was talking with Todd, and this was from an email we had that I just want to sort of briefly, so I can represent him here, about how they were really impressed by how much the community got involved, and that it was new for them to actually be that much more responsive and engaging in real time with their community. And from there, it's now upped all of their efforts. And again, having John Walter, their CEO, get involved, not only made an impression on their community and their board, but actually made him a lot warmer and more human to the organization and the people who, you know, the hundreds of thousands of people on their email list. So some of the lessons learned was having to be, and again, this is a broken record at this point, having to be agile and responsive. You know, we were really worried that some people might see this campaign as insensitive. You know, there are a lot of people who, when they have cancer, lose their hair not in their own control. But I think they saw it in the sort of more solidarity and spirit that it was intended, and thankfully it had a very positive response. The other thing that was really interesting was, again, it wasn't just about the brand of the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, it was around fighting cancer, and beyond people who have blood cancers, it became, you know, it brought them into the broader cancer community with new partners and new conversations. You know, again, the tools that we chose to use made sense within what the goals of the campaign were. They had some good response to that. You know, one of the things learned was there really wasn't enough time, that we got people engaged, but we could have done so much more, and it was because it was for a campaign and over a discrete period tied to showing your love and Valentine's Day. You know, it was very fast and furious, and it could have been a lot more deeper, and I think that's part of what they're thinking about moving forward. You want to know more, feel free to contact me or contact Todd. Lisa knows how to find us as well. I'm at farra@bigducknyc.com, and Todd is todd.whitley@lls.org. Just want to say thanks.